gonna change his music eventually, but I think this works every time.
It really is pretty appropriate.
That's right. It's another hard R episode. But remember, hard. Remember, the hard is implied, right?
If you're lucky.
So yes, this is going out on the Tapes of Lunatics Patreon, and I think this one at least is going out on the Southgate Media Group one too. So we get to introduce ourselves to the world. All right, so yes, tonight, whatever, we're covering The People versus Larry Flint. And for those of you who aren't familiar, I am Phil. That is Lilith down there. Diane with the big smile on her face. And that little tiny lady is Marnell.
And she's terrifying.
Just the right height to punch you in the dick.
Yes!
Okay.
I think I might have referred to you to the new boyfriend as a brick shit house earlier.
4'11" of beat your ass into the ground.
Completely.
But yeah, I was just looking up some of the stats on this. The budget was $35 million. It made $43 million. Wait,
I'm shocked that it didn't do better.
Because Woody Harrelson movies at that time, but it was such a departure from his usual movies too. I think is what it was.
So
it was a very inflammatory subject. On top of that, like they need to remake this movie for 2022.
I was going to say 1996. Like Larry Flint was still very controversial.
Oh yeah,
super controversial.
Yeah. I mean, is this true that they released it worldwide December 25th?
I don't remember.
That's so funny.
Christmas Day they released it.
So that is his request too.
Yes, that is a legitimately transgressive thing that Larry Flint would have done.
But I'm gonna start us off with our joke while you look up some more facts. Let's see. What did the toaster say to the slice of bread? I want you inside of me.
That's hot.
Keep it classy around.
My 15-year-old boy is coming out.
Yeah, give it a cut. Hey, the toaster, give it a couple minutes and make it pop. Oh my God. Okay, Lilith. This won. Woody Harrelson won Best Actor, and Foreman won Best Director at which Academy Awards?
Nick could answer that for us. Nick from Italy can answer that.
The 69th Academy Award.
Oh, perfect! That is so perfect. I love it. I love that for us here.
I mean, it's perfectly.
Like, how amazing is that?
I know.
1996, 69th. You know what I'm saying?
They probably had this movie in the. They were probably had it done 10 years.
They were waiting.
Yeah, it was in the can for a few years.
Yeah. It would come out in the 69th Academy.
Again, transgressive. That's my word.
I thought I'd seen this before, but I had no memory of this. So perhaps.
Oh, really?
Really?
I watched it when it first came out. The most are the court scenes in my memory. So when I was rewatching it, the court scenes were super fresh, but everything else around it, because I haven't watched this movie in forever, but I know that I like this movie just because what it means for like American justice system.
Lilith, did you watch it when it first came out? I wouldn't put it past you. You were 10, but I wouldn't put it past
No, I think I did, honestly.
Oh my God.
Like, did you watch it in the theater?
No, not the theater. No.
Okay, so she was
that bold.
I was gonna say when it came out on VHS, she was probably like 12. So like when it started, was I the only one who was like, "Am I in the wrong movie?"
No, it totally takes you like,
wait, this is. I didn't think I picked the Grapes of Wrath. What's going on?
Dude, Chiners.
So was anybody else like, oh my God, Ed Norton looks like a baby?
Yes.
And he's still amazing, and I still love him. And I was thrilled to see him in this film. I had actually forgotten that he was in this film.
Yeah, I did too.
So that was his best work, actually.
Oh yeah, he was really good. And like I saw there was another Harrelson in this movie. So did they?
Yeah,
his brother in real life played his brother on screen.
Yeah,
yep.
That's all.
He's been in another movie with him, and I can't remember which one it was, but
Wasn't it Now You See Me Too?
Yeah, it was. Thank you. I forgot. I totally watched that movie.
Damn, that's nice and obscure. Well done, Marnell. Well done.
Because like they look so much alike. They actually played twins in the movie.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, was that green screen in that movie? That's why I had to stop and think.
Yeah, but like his character, like the brother's character in that movie is just like. I'm like, it's got to be Woody Harrelson playing another. No, it's his brother, and his brother deserves way more roles than he gets or goes for, I guess.
Yeah, I always like that when they get like somebody's relative to play, you know, like a sibling or, you know.
I know that she's bigger, but Joan and John Cusack, I always love to see them in movies together.
Yeah.
Remember that one movie where they were like love interest? And I was just like, oh, that's enough Cusack for me. The 80s were wild.
I'm sure they featured that in an issue of Hustler.
At some point, we have to do Gross Point Blank. We have to.
Yes, that's a great movie.
Yeah. I've picked like all of our movies so far. So like you guys have to pick now. I keep picking all of the nudie movies.
If everyone is all right with it, I'll pick the next one.
Okay. As long as it's not anything directed by Zack Snyder.
No.
No Sucker Punch? Damn it.
Not for a while though. Let them heal.
I need a lot of time. Like Zack Snyder took a lot of my time. I need some of my time back.
Put that on the cover, kids.
So, but you have to find the moonshine angle very interesting because that he has renegade DNA in his blood. You know what I mean? Those moonshiners in Kentucky, they're not salt of the earth people, and they don't take no guff. So, like that's what you have to understand the most about him, and probably what propelled him to just say fuck it and do what he wants. You know.
So I'm going to kind of take us a little deep in the weeds, but the whole conversion, I'm a born again Christian, that was weird. I had completely forgotten that.
Kentucky roots, though.
But I thought that the balance of, I'm a born again Christian, so we're only going to do pornography that looks like the Garden of Eden. You know?
Well, you know, he was a little off at that point, but...
Do you think he was bipolar?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think so, too.
And then once he got shot, I don't think that helped anything.
Mm-mm.
So right before he got shot, I was actually watching some old news footage from the trial that he was actually coming out of when he was shot, the obscenity trial. And he was actually talking about how they were asking him if he thinks that like what he's doing is like morally right or morally good. And he's like, no. He's like, I don't think nudie pictures or alcohol are morally right or morally, good, but they're legal.
Exactly.
So he mentioned that he had stopped drinking. So he was kind of on this like path already before he got shot. And then of course he got shot and got addicted to painkillers and stuff, and surgery straightened him out. And he found, so he was kind of already going in that direction. And he and Jerry Falwell actually became friends before they died.
You're kidding. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. They actually did a lot of interviews
between us
together.
hands, I think Larry was more the good influence between us hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, people always go, oh, it's Hustler. But, like, the person behind it actually is a lot more likable than Hugh Hefner. If you know, you know. I have a lot of things to say about Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. I am subscribed to a TikTok who spills the tea about what went down.
And that's just Holly. You have to get the tea from the first wife that actually had his kids that he loved, but she didn't want nothing to do with it after a while because of all the crazy shit she saw. Now that's who needs to spill the tea, and she just won't do it because they have kids together.
So Larry Flint, like there's a lot of like on both sides surrounding him also. So there's a daughter that I don't know if the book was published, but she did write a book and threatened to publish it that claimed that he molested her when they were young. And there was a whole some women in his office, but 50% of the employees at Hustler and 50% of the executives are women. One of his 5 kids, his daughter works at Hustler. She was the chief editor. And at the end, the guy that shot him, who they never got justice for shooting him, but he wound up actually being a serial killer. So he was in jail anyway. He was on death row.
Of course, Marnell would know that angle too.
Of course. Joseph Paul Franklin, I think he was convicted of killing 6 or 7 people. And the shooting of Larry Flint was racially motivated. It was because of a interracial couple pictorial that was in Hustler.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And in the end, Larry Flint...
Posterity, guys. Okay.
Larry Flint advocated against the death penalty. He did not want the man that shot him to be put to death. He did not believe in the death penalty. And the reason why he didn't believe in the death penalty is because it was not a deterrent. He's like, what's the point of the government killing people if it's not doing anything? If it's just punitive, it's not deterrent. He's like, don't get me wrong.
And again, it's like how many guys have, how many people have gotten out of prison 5 years later where they're like, oh, we got the wrong person or new evidence coming to light. It's like, can't take.
And Larry was like, don't get me wrong. He's like, give me 10 minutes alone in a room with him with a screwdriver. I want to put him through the pain that he put me through. But he's like, I don't think he should die for it. He's like, and I know the families of his other victims feel differently, but that's just the way that I feel. So, I mean, he was a super complicated guy.
That's a great way to describe him. And the fact, again, that he probably has some bipolar mental illness complicating everything. Yeah.
And an
fascinating
8th grade education.
Guy. Pardon?
He only had an 8th grade education.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people's grandfathers even, yeah. That's kind of goes back to that Kentucky. Just because you only had an 8th grade education doesn't make you any less of a person down there or anywhere. It's really.
Oh yeah, I mean, get out of Philadelphia. My grandfather lied and got into the Air Force at like 16.
And I think if anything in America, you do not have to be smart to be a billionaire.
Definitely not.
That person's not really a billionaire.
No.
They lied on their taxes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
now her older sister, legitimate, bona fide, yes.
Lied bigly.
Yeah. So I have a quick question for Marnell and Lilith, because it sounds like they may have gone a little deeper in the weeds than you and me, Phil. Tell us about Althea. What's her background? What's her story? She was a super interesting character as well, and very tragic.
I was going to say, is that all?
Perfect person to play her. I am so pissed that now that the truth came out about Harvey Weinstein, that they haven't unblackballed Courtney Love. Like, yes, I think she killed Kurt Cobain, but still, like, they blackballed her.
She's a complicated person.
Yes. And
so I read
from obvious mental illness as well.
I read that the director was really pissed off that she was high on the set and high when she was acting, but also
that
felt
more
like
authenticity for me.
Exactly. That's exactly it. He also was like, this is exactly perfect for who this person was and for the actress portraying this person. And man, when she was at the end of Althea's life and was, suffering from AIDS, HIV, boy, did Courtney Love's horrible deterioration with her drug addiction really work well for that.
So towards the end of the filming, it got so bad that the director basically was like, you can't be on set unless you're sober. And so she actually to this day credits him for her being able to clean up her act.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I do want to say that I felt like Woody Harrelson and Courtney Love had great chemistry. They were really good together.
To be fair, Woody Harrelson has great chemistry with every single person that's ever been on screen. I love Woody Harrelson. Like, I hated him because my mom was like a Cheers fanatic, which is ironic because I love Frasier, but I hate Cheers. But I hated him in Cheers. But every movie that he's ever been in, from White Man Can't Jump to Now You See Me Too, I love him. Literally love him. He
was absolutely winsome in this movie. I used the word winsome to describe him because there were times that he was so cute. I mean, he just had that little sly smile and those big sparkling eyes. And I was like, you're adorable, Woody.
It's crazy. He can go from that to Natural Born Killers. Like, such a range.
Oh my God. We should do that movie. I haven't watched that since it came out.
Yeah,
that's a hard R for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's got a young Robert Downey Jr.
Well, there we are. That's my choice. I haven't picked a movie yet. That's my choice.
But come on, how many clubs in what was that, Cincinnati, or how many strip clubs in Cincinnati are that clean? Come on.
Back in the day, strip clubs were actually a lot different and had a lot higher standards, so you'd be surprised.
Most of them didn't dance though.
Yeah, that. So I somehow find myself a lot on like pole dancing TikTok.
No.
And it's not what it sounds like. That should be an Olympic sport.
It should be an Olympic sport, and
yes.
they've been trying to get it to be an Olympic sport. But because women do it, and it's too sexual.
There was like people doing double. It was like synchronized on the same pole. Like, it's amazing.
Can we get the gay men to get this into the Olympics, please?
Sliding down poles.
That way it won't be sexual doing it.
Lil Nas can be like their mascot. Yeah.
Oh, I need to watch that video. I still haven't watched that video.
Really?
I know. I've been doing other things with my time.
You're behind the TikTok crowd down there, Di.
Yeah. Although I have a really funny TikTok that I'll have to pass on to all of you after we're done because it's really hilarious.
No, but
it's not vulgar. It's just funny.
It was so funny to see a strip joint with like no poles. The girls couldn't dance. Like it was really just
That's
like
why it was clean. There was no glitter.
I'm visualizing the chick in the cowboy hat with the fake guns. She was awful. Awful.
Oh,
no, I've seen some clubs like that in modern day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, nope, get me out of here.
Oh, and it was
Spearmint Rhino. Take me to Spearmint Rhino. I have no time for this.
Former strip club DJ, Lilith Hellfire. Yes, you've seen your share of strip clubs.
And it was scarily well lit. I'm just like, turn the lights down.
No, that's transgressive. Those strip clubs deserve to have the lights on.
No drunk degenerate wants those lights that high.
Can't we put these things on a dimmer? Like the more sober I am, the darker it needs to be.
Especially if they can't dance.
Can you believe she was only 33 when she died, though?
That's sad.
Yeah, but she had led a really dark life. They alluded to it in the movie where her dad killed all of her family and left her. And she did claim molestation by nuns in the orphanage. And so she lived a really, really rough life. And I mean, the speculation that she was not 18 yet when those two met, Well,
they kind of
back then especially, anything went. Like for a long time, up until like Playboy Mansion was legitimized, there's absolutely 13, 14, 50-year-olds in there. I'm just saying, people have said. So
well, I mean, we sent boys off to war, like in the late 60s, early 70s. We were still sending, 16, 17-year-olds off to war. Yeah. They just lied about their age too. And I mean, if people don't think that is the same thing, you are conscribing your body to the government.
Sorry. Guys don't join the military just because there's nothing else to do.
You're selling your body.
Yep. Same thing as a stripper.
You know what? Yep. Were you and I talking about it, Marnell? We all sell our bodies to a certain degree.
You work, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Time for money.
Yeah, exactly.
My sciatica is killing me from sitting all day. I need to
My sciatica is killing me for other reasons.
I need to install a pole so I can do some stretches.
Oh my God. I so want to picture you sending a work email hanging upside down off the pole.
Call me when you want. Call me when you want.
Just don't make me come into the office.
Oh my God. Because it will be either snapping someone's neck or giving them a lap dance. Like it's just
there's no in between.
Like my desk is coffee and alcohol. Like that's just how I divide my day.
Sorry, the dogs have decided all of a sudden they're playing. That's truly what you're hearing in the background. There's nothing else going on.
A whole bunch of grunting back there.
I'm really sad that Althea's magazine, that punk rock magazine, never really got off the ground. I thought that would have been a very cool, because it was not pornographic. And
did they talk about that in the movie?
I don't think they did, but I know it was in one of the script drafts. But it did. The movie was already so long by 90s standards. But yeah, she had a lot of things she wanted to get done. It's just so sad she died so young.
And man, she was a ride or die chick. Like,
definition of.
Yeah. I mean, everything that he went through with his disability and, in and out of jail.
His presidential run.
Yeah. Oh, God, against Reagan.
And that's why the magazine actually didn't get off the ground, was because they wanted to focus the energy on that 1984 presidential campaign run.
Wow, I totally didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I should have known, because I'm the oldest in this group right now, but...
The 80s were a hell of a time. I don't blame you if you don't remember. Wink, wink.
I was pretty straight in the 80s. I'm much crazier now.
Could you imagine if we had President Larry Flint instead of President Reagan?
Imagine if he was still around. He could have beat Trump. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Now he would be a Bernie bro for sure.
So he hates Fox News. He's like, one of his big thing is, we would die to not defend the speech that we agree with.
You have to feel the same way about the speech you don't agree with, because that's really freedom of speech.
Yeah, he's like, if something isn't offensive, if you're not going to say anything offensive, you don't need the right to free speech. So, the cost of living in a freedom of speech country is having to tolerate things that you don't agree with.
One more time for the people in the gosh darn back.
And so he's like, so for instance, Fox News, he's like, that channel is trash. And he's like, that Archie Bunker guy, O'Reilly. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you. So I would have loved to have seen him run against Trump. That would have been great. Of course, they would. The Democrats would have never ran him, but
I told you he would have got all the Bernie bro support. I'm telling you.
That's because the Democrats are fucking cowards.
Yeah.
Hello. All politics is a sham. So.
It's all professional wrestling.
He would have been the spoiler candidate, like Ross Perot. He would have been the Ross Perot of this election cycle.
But the point he made in that one speech, like he said, it's like, you can watch a murder, which is illegal, but you take a picture of it, you might get a Pulitzer. He's like, but if you take a picture of like naked people, it's like, it's horrible. And it's
okay if it's in National Geographic because it's exploitative, but pay a woman to take her clothes off. Heaven forbid.
Right. Or if a woman takes control of her own sexuality and monetizes it.
It's exactly the difference of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball versus Robin Thicke's the song we
Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines. We don't mention that song here. It's Blurred Lines at the fruit.
Well, it's the difference between just about every rap song by a guy and then WAP, as soon as women start saying wet ass pussy, oh God, we can't have the children listening to that. It's like, okay, do you know who we listen to?
Okay, don't let your 90s? Children listen to it. I'm not a child. Mind your business.
I have 2 words. Petey Pablo.
Freak a leak.
As the only parent here, guess what? You don't want your kids to see stuff. Fucking parents.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monitor their screen time.
Yeah,
but people don't want to. Most people don't want to monitor their kids these days. I mean, I see people giving their 2-year-old an iPad, and that's all they know.
And as somebody who is not a parent and been in a restaurant and had been in the bar part of a restaurant where children are not supposed to be, and having a family of 6 sit down next to me and go, oh. And then to have mom whip out a bunch of screens, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yes. Yes, that's the only time I approve of screen time.
I know those
small
kids.
children in the restaurant. I don't want to hear that.
And again, let me say it as the only parent here. Stop having so many fucking kids, people.
No. We got to catch up to China. Sorry, Phil. You're wrong. We got to catch up to China. Have as many kids as you can afford.
And again, when you see children acting out in public, that's a reflection on their parents. You know what? My child can go to a restaurant, sit down.
Luca is one of the best kids I've ever met in my life.
I was going to say, you had a meal with him.
I was going to say, if you can take your kids to as many movies as I've seen you take Luca to and have Luca sit in the dark for 2 to 3 hours and not bug other human beings, like, you're those up in my book.
School.
Again, it's just you teach your kids.
He loves math.
Hey, everyone in the world is everyone in here is the ones to hear the movie. If you need, if you need to go to the bathroom or you have a question, just like whisper to, me or your mother.
How many trials did Larry Flint go through? I feel like he went through like a lot in his life. He was in and out of court.
And the one that he was shot at was actually declared a mistrial that day. Of course.
78 trial. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if he was actually retried for that one, that obscenity one.
I think they called it good on that one, if I'm not mistaken. They're like,
his comment to his lawyer, I absolutely love it, and it's a true line. He, when his lawyer tried to quit, and the lawyer,
is this the line about being a great client?
Yes, Ed Norton was actually kind of a confluence of a couple of different lawyers that worked for him, but he did have the one main guy, and he's like, I'm your best client. I'm the most fun. I have a ton of money and I get into trouble all the time. And I'm just like,
yeah, he literally is the perfect client.
Yeah. And and Norton's like, I got nothing.
Did you know that Bill Murray and Tom Hanks were thought to be they wanted them to for the role of Larry Flynn?
Oh, I think Woody Harrelson is perfect.
Bill Murray?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that, but I think at least, especially by that.
Tom Hanks is a no for me.
Tom Hanks.
Hard
he had the squeaky clean image by that point. I mean, if you want
I just couldn't imagine that movie without Woody Harrelson, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just don't think the chemistry with Courtney Love would have been the same.
I think that they were they have the same free spirit energy. Because at the end of the day, Woody Harrelson is very much a free spirit in his personal life, and I love that for him. He's all about marijuana and being a real hippie, a true modern day hippie.
From what I hear, he spent a lot of time at it just escaped me. The old country guy.
What?
Nelson. He spends a lot of time at Willie Nelson's house.
Oh yeah, they're best friends. No, that's a true story. Yeah.
I was gonna say, in the kindred spirit of being a true transgressive, one of the things that Woody Harrelson was constantly getting arrested for back in the day was he'd go around and he'd plant pot everywhere, in California. He would just plant seeds everywhere, and
I think I kind of remember that.
He called TMZ.
Legal marijuana wasn't legal until 1999 in California.
Yeah, and he'd call TMZ and make a thing of it, and the cops would come arrest him. But he's an actor, he has to put that on his resume. No, they're still gonna hire him, and they're gonna hire him to do things like Larry Flint. So
exactly.
Yeah,
I did think for a while that some of the shenanigans that he was pulling in his personal life kind of derailed his career a little bit.
And he was okay with that. He has money.
Yeah.
So he was able to do that and be an activist and be the face of that movement, which is really cool, which I wish more celebrities would have the balls to do nowadays. Maybe we wouldn't be in such shit.
And he's one of those celebrities that lives a super simple life. He doesn't buy jewelry or a bunch of giant houses. He
does wear hemp clothing for real.
Yeah,
in real life.
He plays the bongos and rolls his own joints.
Every girl's dream.
Truly. Because if I gotta roll the blunt, we're gonna be here for a minute. Wait, no, are you sure?
Hey, if you're gonna have his spit in your mouth anyway, get him the roll.
That's transgressive, truly transgressive. I don't like that. I saw that I saw one a couple of those TikToks. I'm just like, Your daddy don't love you. What are you doing? Oh, gross.
Oh
These
my
kids
God.
today, boy, I cannot with.
You're the youngest one here, and she's like, these kids today.
Gen Z is wild, bro. Like, okay, they're not only rioting, they're blowing up police stations. They're wild. Good on them, but they're wild. I'm scared of them.
I know. Can you imagine? These are the people that are going to be taking care of us when we're in retirement homes. Like, that is a terrifying thought. But I'm also like okay with it.
Internet used to come in the mail. Okay, Grandma.
I was going to say, I have a child to take care of me in my old age. You guys are at the mercy of strangers.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Nothing is promised. Live
That's
while you
okay.
can.
I have the longevity gene. I think I'll be okay until I'm 102. Like my grandmother and her mother before her. I'll be all right.
Oh, is that why you're embalming yourself as we speak?
Have you opened the pentagram thing, by the way?
Oh, I'm about to.
All right.
All right. So this came from Spencer's.
Okay.
Black
Of
Magic
course it
Energy.
did. Which is like the Kmart of hustler stores.
It
That's
is.
what Hustler is now.
All right. So for future generations, this is how the world ended. Lilith opened in Florida. Okay.
Oh,
Florida.
that's good. Okay, this is an all-night energy drink, by the way.
Oh no! As
No.
in you're
Yeah,
gonna
it
be
came
up
from
all
the back
night.
of the store, if you know what I mean.
Ship it to die. Ship it to die.
I'll ship the love potion one because I have had that one before. It's pretty good.
Whoa.
Honey, I don't need any love potion. Trust me.
Holy
hell! Holy hell!
Just for hydration purposes, it's fine. Gotta stay hydrated, kids.
Definitely gotta hydrate better.
That should be the name of that
this
drink.
movie was shot so wonderfully. Like it has like that natural grit to it.
Yeah.
That filter.
Yeah. It was a grindhouse almost.
Exactly.
Yep.
I'm not really familiar with Milos Forman at all, though. I couldn't even tell you another movie that he did off the top of my head.
I was gonna, being a totally lame podcaster, I was gonna actually look him up and see because I mean, obviously, I know the name, and I'm sure I've watched some of his other movies, but
I heard the name, but nothing was springing.
But really, I think that this movie stands on the script, which was written by Scott Alexander and Larry Krakowski. Like, the script is amazing. And it actually didn't go through that many script changes, which speaks volumes if you know anything about Hollywood. They always want to change something. And I do feel like this was like a passion project for sure.
okay, you guys. So, Man on the Moon about Andy Kaufman, Valmont, which was a great movie. Anybody?
Man on the Moon, I've seen.
So Valmont was a French movie where basically. It's just very messed up. Lots of love triangle, lots of people taking advantage of people. It's set in like Renaissance France, not a little later than France, or a little later than that, but it's really pretty phenomenal. People are ruining people's lives by having affairs. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Great movie. Watch it. Amadeus, which of course we all know.
Okay. Hey, we just made that reference yesterday.
Hair, which we all know. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this guy, his name's just not like, you know.
So I hate to say it's a generational thing, but it's a generational thing. And like Valmont and Amadeus were my generation. The stuff prior to that, all of us missed. So, So
wow. So this is a very different departure then.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, although you have to watch Valmont now. Valmont.
Yeah, it was
love the mess, as my grandmother would say.
But again, with something like this, are you like shooting for awards and stuff? I
don't know. I mean, it's controversial, so it could go either way. The Academy Award, you really don't know, especially back in the 90s. They're very wishy-washy.
Yeah, but the 69th annual, you have to give it to them.
It's almost like a give me. I know.
Yeah, gimme. But so was everything in this movie true? So he met her.
I'm glad you asked that because I was wondering.
I think some of it was creative license that they had to clean up for the sake of it and legal reasons.
Well, like when you said she died at 33, I mean, so they met and they started sleeping together when she was underage. Then.
Come on, absolutely.
It was the 70s.
Anything pre like 90, 97, anything was a given. Like that whole Tracy Lord thing really like made everybody kind of open their eyes around the industry, or open their eyes, quote unquote.
Officially.
Yeah, exactly. But she had, the legal age in Europe is shocking in a lot of places. So.
Oh yeah, isn't it like 13 or something?
Some places, Africa even lower. So
there's some places. I don't think they have an age in some places.
So, I think it's a lot of that is cultural mores and how you feel about that.
Child brides, yeah.
So her cause of death is actually officially listed as accidental drowning
from the bathtub, but it's like Whitney Houston's is too. So
that's right.
It says toxicology reports were inconclusive.
That means they were off the charts.
Pretty much.
I figured, she took too many drugs, she passed out, and she drowned. I guess if there's water in the lungs, it's straight, drowning.
That's why you take a shower. You get a bench in the shower, no bathtubs.
That tub was huge too. God,
my kind of tub. Honestly, it's an old timey like clawfoot bathtub, or it's one of those.
Oh my gosh, his Gulfstream 2 private jet was actually used in the movie.
Wow.
Ballin'. Sex sells, literally.
He bought a Gulfstream 4 before he died, so.
Well, they only make like a G5 still.
Oh, interesting. So this is kind of scary. His daughter said that she was sexually abused by him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So two of his daughters actually claim that one of them claimed sexual molestation. The other one claimed that he used to share the dirty cartoons with her, and that traumatized her. And I kind of like, I can see that because again, it was a different time. So there was actually a lot of controversy around the cartoonist who used to work at Hustler. Do you know the story, Lilith? His name was actually Chester, and he used to write cartoons about like molesting his daughters for Hustler. And he went to prison for like 2 years for child molestation. So
yucky.
I
don't know if that is exactly where we get Chester the molester.
I think it is, honestly, because you cannot find that reference any earlier than that. So I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So
and that's why I was just like never ate Cheetos, because the Cheetos cat's name is Chester.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like,
just disturbing. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that is one of those unfortunate things, but like just imagine the things that we don't know.
He was actually
writing that whole culture of kind of magazine. So
he was actually doing cartoons for Hustler while he was in prison for child molestation. Like he was still submitting and employed by Hustler because it was the 80s and it was wild.
It was the 80s.
That's fair, because having worked in the Alaska prison system, I'm just kind of thinking about what all of the mail goes through to get in and out of the prison. But that was in 2016. So yeah.
So history's complicated.
Right? I mean, honestly, if we really want to start unturning stones about the stuff that went on at Playboy, whether it was the clubs that they opened in Chicago and internationally, or at that magazine itself, I mean, Hustler wasn't the only place. Just Hugh Hefner had more money, more clout, more pull because he made it seem classy and sophisticated. But let's not forget, I don't even want to get into the whole Bill Cosby thing, but he was just as bad as Bill Cosby.
I loved what Larry Flint said at the beginning, very early on in the movie, where he was talking to people about kind of the inception of Hustler. Playboy is mocking you. And then he was talking about, basically Playboy is catering to people who are highfalutin, highbrow, have a certain income. You definitely saw that in terms of the clientele that the magazines were pitched toward.
Only people who make over 20,000 jerk off.
Right.
Playboy was for WASPs, and Hustler was for the working man.
Yes,
and Penthouse
absolutely.
was for that weird middle class that's in between them.
And it's funny that you would say that, Marn, because I think about the stuff that I was exposed to as a kid, which I'm horrified that I was exposed to as a kid. But Penthouse is the stuff that I remember. I don't remember Playboy.
That's how you know.
Yeah, I don't remember Playboy. I remember a little bit of Hustler, but
a little bit of Hustler. We were lower middle class.
Yeah. You're lower middle class when you've got mostly Penthouse and a little bit of Hustler.
The Hustler was the starter collection, you see.
Hey, as a teenage boy, I remember everybody saying, "Oh yeah, Playboy's fine, but if you get your hands on a Hustler, man, you see everything."
And you had that one uncle that came back from overseas with the really dirty Asian magazines.
Why is this so true?
We didn't have that one uncle, did we? Did we have that one? You must have had that one uncle. I didn't have that one uncle.
It's actually it was Aunt Sally's deceased husband's brother.
Well, there you go.
So
her side of the family,
uncle.
not mine.
Oh my God. I had a good friend for many years, like in middle school, high school, like his grandfather just had long boxes of, I think
it wasn't comics. Feels like he's got
I know, like the loser, not comics. No, it was like, there had to be at least 2 decades of Playboys, just boxes of them.
I bet you Charlie Esther bags and tags his Playboys. I bet you know that.
Okay.
Doesn't tag his comic books, but I bet you those Playboys are in pristine condition.
Unpopular opinion, maybe. I think the female form photographs generally well in soft lighting with the camera pulled back a little bit. I think a full-on crotch shot is not that attractive.
Well, for women.
I was going to say it depends on the
crotch.
No, because generally speaking...
Now look at men's sex toys. It's just a body part. I'm just saying.
Ew, Lilith. Ew, I know we can swear on this. That's fucking nasty. I just suddenly have...
No, you have to think. I'm just saying.
No, I just suddenly visualized it, and I was like, oh. Whereas women's sex toys are generally speaking, if you're buying higher class sex toys, boy, we're in the weeds now. They're not realistic. They're not
phallic.
True to They're phallic, but they are not true to realism.
Oh, don't even Google Mr. Hanky. Don't do it. You'll be traumatized, boys.
You totally know
traumatized
right now.
Well, you have to think about this too. What do little girls grow up like? Like for me, Beauty and the Beast was like my favorite up until probably Tiana came along. But yeah, it's fuck a monster, because men are terrible. Honestly, women are ooh, werewolves, vampire boyfriends, monster boyfriends, because men are terrible.
That's true.
So that's why you have a whole generation with Mr. Hanky dildos. That is my...
Oh my
God. That's the pipeline.
Okay,
I'm totally
going there.
Totally going there.
But I'm gonna use DuckDuckGo to look at
yes,
some
For the love of God, get a VPN.
You're gonna fuck yourself. Come on.
Okay, I am gonna say that the most recent search that I have on DuckDuckGo, I can't believe I'm saying this on a podcast, was edging. So there we are.
Oh wait. Why did you have to look that up?
She just wanted to make sure, she was on Urban Dictionary. She just had to make sure that the definition in her head matched the definition that it was.
This is 100% right.
You do not want to confuse it.
Research for her latest project.
Oh, holy hell.
Now you know why we podcast dirty movies all the time. It's for research purposes.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, Hustler just kind of spoke to me just because of all the stuff that Larry Flint was kind of about. Whereas I just never believed the Playboy lifestyle. So I think that's why I was just I just found him very interesting.
The thing about Playboy is,
holy hell!
My boyfriend's a monster and I want to fuck him. Yes! The shape of water is the most recent phenomenon of that. I'm just saying that's what women get.
Oh my God. So I'm going to be doing a little screen share.
Wow.
Poor Phil's about to be traumatized.
I think poor Rob Southgate doesn't know what he's going to about Patreon.
You might warn him before he puts it on the Southgate Media Patreon, because I can't believe that I just admitted to my search, and I can't believe that I just did the search that Lilith encouraged me to do.
I told you don't do it. Get a VPN.
I'll warn you in advance, Robert. I am editing. That's all I'll say. What did you say?
No, do we think Althea actually got the AIDS from the transfusion, or was it just from her using dirty needles?
Well,
Dirty
so
needle.
was it that?
Because
Was
they
it
said
sex
she
with
got
other
it from
people than
surgery. That's
Larry?
the official.
You know?
Dirty needles. That's my opinion's dirty needles.
I mean, we got a medical expert. What do you think?
I honestly
Because it was
think,
the 80s. AIDS was still relatively new.
I honestly think she had so many risk factors, because I do think she was having sex with people other than Larry Flint. I mean, and I think that probably they had some sort of open arrangement after his injury because he couldn't have sex anymore. So I think that was certainly a possibility. Definitely the IV drug abuse.
Because she got addicted to his pain medication. And,
Yeah.
You know, what's in that pain medication? Heroin? What do you do
Well,
with heroin?
and that's actually what I was wondering when she was shooting him up in that scene where she's got that giant rubber tourniquet. I'm like, really?
Do you need to like get that vein from across the room? Jesus.
But seriously, I was like, is that prescription or is that heroin? I thought it was heroin.
I didn't even know they let you get prescribed something intravenously that has that kind of, like, outside the hospital. Because I know morphine, technically.
Rich people.
I was gonna say,
so
so,
rich people,
like,
private physician who was willing, and there were not
that took cash. Here's just like
Right.
some bundles of money.
right. And I mean, we weren't monitoring the way we are now. It's not like the FDA was scrutinizing that physician.
Oh, really?
I mean, when I prescribe something controlled now, literally,
There's
even if
lots
it's
of
something,
forms, yeah.
no, so I don't know if it's true for every state. It should be. It's not. There's not great compacting across states for me to look at other states' drug monitoring programs. But in the state of Alaska, if I prescribe something controlled for somebody, even if it's a category 5, which is like the least stringent controlled category, I have to look that patient up, and I have to see what their prescription drug history is. Because I have to make sure they're not hitting other people up for the same or
shopping.
more. And that wasn't a thing when Larry and Althea were getting the medication that he was getting. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was getting something that could be given IV. That would not surprise me a bit.
And it
But
wouldn't
I
surprise
still
me
think
if they
it's
were
possibly heroin.
I was gonna say it wouldn't surprise me if they were taking medical grade like prescription drugs and like
And
crushing them up and
Yeah.
and cooking them. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been heroin too.
He was from Kentucky, which was which is still the pill capital, like, of the world right now. So.
And they could have been using both. They could have been using the prescription stuff
Supplementing,
pill,
yeah.
and supplementing with illegal heroin.
They were both
Yeah.
using it,
Yeah.
Yeah. That doctor was like, you know, like basically like kind of like, I'm gonna cut you off, and she's like, here's 30 grand. He takes pills out, and it's like they could just call another doctor who's gonna come take 30 grand for some pills. Like,
I mean, even
Okay,
when Michael
cut me
Jackson
off.
died, there was still somebody who was willing to put his license on the line and shoot Michael Jackson up with propofol every night.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if you can, I mean, if someone's coming to you with,
But, like, honestly, when I guess rich people are just idiots, because it's like, this guy's willing to break the law for a little bit of cash. Should I really trust this guy? This guy doesn't have my, like, for me. Like, if I went into my plastic surgeon and it's like, my boobs are out to here and I want them to be out to here, and he's like, okay, I'm like, I don't know about this one.
I needed a second opinion for the thing that I want that you said yes to. I need a second opinion for my opinion because I don't
But
trust
then
my
again,
opinion.
it's an addiction, so you're not really thinking clearly. You just want the yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and plus, again, we've got somebody who's bipolar, somebody who's got a life-altering injury, now is addicted. I definitely think Althea probably had some mental illness as well as her trauma history.
Yeah, the trauma just
and
alone.
addiction.
Because trauma alters your brain chemistry.
Absolutely.
Especially at a
Absolutely.
young age. So.
Yeah.
Well, and so he's kind of the other side of the coin to the rich person who was in office that we mentioned earlier, who shall remain nameless.
Who would that
But
be?
I mean, nobody ever said no to these people. You know, yeah, he got pushed back legally for the obscenity stuff, but everyone around him, you know,
was a yes man. You have to be.
Except his brother. His brother gave him pushback. He blew his brother off, but I do believe that his brother pushed back quite a bit.
Well, family, until you know, family will try, and then they got to cut you off for their sake of their sanity, you know?
I mean, he tried to do end arounds, like when Larry like fired everyone. His brother, no, you know, he's in a nut house. What do you think? No, everyone.
I know. Everyone in this room is fired. I'm like, it's like, okay, you're not here. What are you going to do about it? We're the only ones who know we're fired, so we're not fired.
Exactly.
It's like, no, we're going to ignore that.
So, going back to something we said earlier, how men who conscribe themselves to the military, men and women, are selling their body, and we sent boys off to war. Flint actually joined the military, the United States Army, at 15 years old using a counterfeit birth certificate.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was so easy to do back then.
Well, we'll see.
And the military's not going to, another healthy body. Why not?
Right?
Especially back then.
We'll see when he met Althea, you know, his brother's like, oh, she had an ID. And he's like, I could get it. You know, anyone get an ID. My pig get an ID.
Yeah.
So he knew.
Yeah.
Oh, but I knew it was him. Larry, the actual Larry Flint was in this.
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the judge.
Right?
Yeah, the judge. Yeah.
Yep.
In the first trial that we saw.
Yeah, Morrissey. Yeah. How must that be to be like just sitting around like watching your life being played out in this movie?
I heard he didn't actually really consult that heavily with this movie. He just kind of gave them the general outline.
Scene. It's just like watching this.
So what's funny is that when we podcasted Boogie Nights, the one girl who was basically the storyline for Amber Waves, she was actually played the attorney or the judge in the case for Amber Waves' custody in the movie. So
that's always nice when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, so I kind of have a feeling that Hollywood kind of likes to put those little Easter eggs in, you know, the person we're doing the movie about is right there.
So it's like the dirty Stanley cameo. Okay.
He joined the Navy in 1960. He was honorably discharged from the Army, and he worked other places, but he joined the Navy in 1960. He was a radar operator for the USS Enterprise.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
He was actually on duty and assigned to recover John Glenn's space capsule.
What?
Whoa.
Wikipedia.
That's crazy.
But I just wonder if that was a real conversation, like after he got shot, and they were like, "Oh, who do we think it is?" Well, you offered that like $1 million reward for the killer of JFK. It's like it could have been the CIA, could have been the mob, could have been the KKK.
Well, no, it literally could have been though, as we know from real life history.
Oh yeah.
Poor Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and so many other people. It's like, could have been the CIA, absolutely.
But just how scary is that? It's like you don't know who shot you. It could have been any.
Because you inflamed so many egos. It's like, who cares what you do in the bedroom? Like, honestly, that is America's issue. It's like, bro, just live it. Boom, be boom. Let live.
Or again, like these religious people, it's like you have your religion.
It's like, separation of church and state is there for a reason, right?
Yeah, do your thing. Don't push your beliefs on me.
And if you do, I absolutely love what he did with his money. He offered $1 million rewards for a ton of stuff. Like basically, if you have dirt on the Clintons, if you have dirt on the Trumps,
ain't nobody with dirt on the Clintons coming forward. Ain't enough money in the world,
right?
You're gonna end up like a pig farm in Arkansas, buddy.
I mean, if you crossed him, he was basically just like $1 million bounty on video or evidence that person was doing something wrong. Like that's using your money well.
If you're not going to become Batman, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you get gut shot and have to live the rest of your life in your wheelchair, like, yeah, do that.
it's just crazy. Like, you know, there's like footage of like it wasn't that long ago that we were having these arguments
about sexuality and about freedom to have
sex. We're still having it, but not to this extent. So I think a lot of people should be actually grateful because he did make way for a lot of other stuff to be not as like harsh.
So the boyfriend and I were talking last night about some case law that basically stemmed from, I believe, a case in Texas where two gay men were basically, I don't want to say caught because I think they were probably set up. They were having consensual sex. The police busted down their door and brought them up on sodomy charges. And there was
because they're still on the books. Yeah.
Well, no, but there was a big case that stemmed from that basically really created a situation in all 50 states where no, what is consensual between adults is nobody's business.
Yep.
It's crazy that we still have that conversation, but it's like lesser and lesser degrees, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, this is
you want to get married, you can get married now across all the states, things like that.
This is fairly recent case law, from my understanding.
I mean, when I was just in like elementary school, middle school, like when Clinton was president, there was like don't ask, don't tell policy, and you know, you couldn't actually be married; it had to be a union, things like that. It's crazy.
Again, I always say it's like why besides these people screaming about morality, why isn't like prostitution legal? It's like legalize it. Make these
I mean, look at Nevada. I mean, they make those girls go through the test. They have to get their card. They're monitored. They're watched. They're safe.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You create
safety. I mean, that's why marijuana is legal in Florida and a couple of other red states.
You create safety for the clients and the women who are providing the service, and the men
and
who
then
are
you
providing
cut down
the
on
services.
women's trafficking.
So,
make them buy a license. You have to do a test there, a STD test.
It's every 6 months, I believe, in Nevada.
And you tax the hell out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, America is capitalist first and foremost. I don't know. I hate that we're always clutching our pearls. I'm like, dude, we're third world with a Gucci belt. Calm down. Calm down.
But seriously, I mean, it's a perfectly legal thing until the money gets involved. It's like.
So Diane and I we discussed a documentary about OnlyFans on one of our most recent podcasts, and so there's a ton of controversy.
Ruined it, but yes.
What was that?
Celebrities ruined it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bella Thorne.
Actually, Bad Baby.
Oh my God, we talked about her. Oh God, that's
sickening.
I didn't even know that was that girl until you said that. I was like, oh,
Catch me outside.
Catch me outside. How about that?
They taught me that. I was like, well, that's her. Oh God.
That's a crazy story, but yeah, OnlyFans is wild.
I actually. This is the thing I hate admitting on the podcast, Diane. I actually watched that episode of Dr. Phil, like when it aired. So yeah, I've
the person that's been watching Dr. Phil.
I was homesick. Hey, the remote was way over there. Like,
that's really the only reason to watch Dr. Phil is that your remote is way out of reach.
It just happened.
He was halfway through that fishbowl. The remote was over there.
the fish gummies they were stuck in my teeth.
I still have a half a bag.
That is one of my favorite candies still to this day.
So, I mean, even monetizing like your nudity, not just even having sex with people, just monetizing your nudity is still controversial. Your own nudity. I mean, there are men and women, mostly women out there, who are getting fired from their jobs because they have OnlyFans.
That EMT? It's like, no, that shouldn't be the story that she's on OnlyFans. The fact that she has to be on food stamps and do OnlyFans, and she's an EMT. And she's like a first responder.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. Like, that should be the story, not the fact that she has an OnlyFans. That's
right.
Wild.
Yeah.
You missed the point. Whoosh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
again, we can put all this we can put all this violence.
It's like farm to table pornography, because the whole thing with Pornhub is.
Oh my God! I wish we would have said that on the podcast. That's amazing.
That's why I like OnlyFans, because I feel like people that do, like, I actually pay for a couple of porn subscriptions because
it's a prescription.
Women need to get paid. Like, they are doing all the work, and like, It's amazing. Two guys, but it's amazing. So it's like, yeah, I kind of want to support them. But now OnlyFans is that farm to table pornography where it's like, okay, you can actually get directly the money. It's actually going to that person, not to the studio.
80%,
this, that, and then trickle down to them. So I just hate the celebrities ruining it. I hate it.
So again, I equate it with the military. If I have a right to sell my body to the government so that I can go be injured or die or, have some sort of lifelong, trauma physically or mentally.
Or both.
Right. Or both. Like construction work, you are selling your body. Like all work, like Lilith said, you are selling your body, whether it's your mind or physically planting your ass in a chair all day and slowly dying of diabetes and caffeine addiction.
That got a little too personal. I feel called out.
I'm just going to say called out. Called out.
And again, it's like, why is nudity so controversial?
Because we still technically live in such a puritanical society. How? I don't know.
But it's like, I don't care how you identify. Every human being has a naked body. It's like...
Shh! Don't tell the conservatives.
What is the difference? I mean, there are certain men out there who have bigger boobs than I do. What is the difference between their nipple and mine?
Well, yours, and this is the thing, that's American. Because they're actually okay with like topless women over across seas. This is an American issue. It's sexual. It's the sexual thing, and it shouldn't be. It's to feed babies.
Eurotrip. They use it to sell orange juice.
Nice.
Lilith gets me.
I do. That's a great movie. Especially after you smoked a doobie.
Oh my god.
Excuse
Smoked a doobie.
I don't know. Like, I wish Charlie was kind of here to defend the Playboy side of things. Because I can't see it. Like, I've never been infatuated with the Playboy thing, ever.
We discussed this morning when we were recording. Remember? Say Weird Al Yankovic 3 times into a movie and Charlie Esser will appear.
Eat it. Oh, that's perfect. Actually,
White and nerdy.
Or if you say something about strippers.
Amish Paradise. Where's Charlie? Come on. We've made 3 Weird Al Yankovic references.
Dr. Octopus. Okay.
So, like, I don't think Playboy is. I mean, Playboy was what it was. He even Larry Flint said that he paved the way for, a lot of the magazines that came afterwards. But
he wasn't interested in going far enough.
No, and I mean, basically, if I want to see a nude Barbie doll, I will look at Playboy. Like, that's all it was white.
That is legit. The difference between the women in Playboy and the women in Hustler. Big difference.
Even the black girls were blonde, which just true story. Like,
hey, don't pick on blondes.
Nothing against blondes. It's just a variety is the spice of life.
Like, can I at least get a ginger? Damn.
No, you are surrounded by some variety and some spice right now.
I gotta find that TikTok that talks about if you have a group of 3 girls or more in any movie, one of them is always a ginger. You saw that?
Yes, it's true. Yes. I can't unsee it now.
Yeah. One of them is always a redhead. And like everyone, like if you get 4 or more, you start getting like the other black chick or an Asian chick or something.
But you're still gonna have that ginger.
It's a blonde, a black girl, and a redhead. Like always.
And then I just flash back to Charlie's Angels and I'm like, damn it.
I like the Powerpuff Girls. Like,
yes.
How did we not see this before?
Tropes, man.
We totally
tropes for a reason. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I appreciate this movie. I appreciate that Larry Flint is like an actual human being who actually like went through all these things. It's wild.
Yeah, and a
his
complicated
life is crazy.
Being. Yeah,
it was destined to be a movie.
And he was asked in an interview that I watched if he had it all to do over again, would he have done it? And he said no.
He said yes. Oh, he said no.
He said he would have. Yeah, he's like I'm glad that I did it. I'm happy with the outcome, but one of the things that he said is if he knew that casinos were as profitable as they were, he would have opened, because that's what he started to do when when the internet came about and Hustler went from 3 million subscribers to 100,000 subscribers. He started opening casinos and he turned Hustler into a brand, kind of like the
Much
Playboy.
like Playboy. Yep.
Yeah. And so he's got like shops and merchandise and
it's a couple of strip clubs that have the Hustler branding
logo.
Well.
Yep. But yeah, he would have gone into casinos.
I mean, I could
have honestly. That's where.
Yeah.
I could have seen him thriving in like Las Vegas.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine? Okay, so like imagine the alternate universe where he had won against Reagan and we had President Larry Flint, and then also
different this world would be.
And then also imagine the world where Larry Flint became a casino operator instead of a pornographer, and like he wouldn't have broken all of those barriers.
We'd be stuck with Playboy.
Yeah,
and I'm just not okay with that.
Yeah. I want to live in President Larry Flint universe. Larry Flint universe.
Oh my God, that's the universe Watchmen should have been set in. Honestly.
Oh, nice.
Who's writing it? Somebody needs to write that alternate universe. Well, he doesn't write. He only directs. Don't worry.
Okay, he's not directing it.
President Gorbachev, tear down now.
Oh my God, that was the best.
But I give this movie an A+ hands down. I think like if you're interested just in that whole obscenity and just pornography and why it is the way it is in America.
And civil liberties.
Exactly. And that's what it boils down to at the end of the day.
And it was really well done in putting such a human face on him and Althea.
Like the pirate movies are very well done.
I'm gonna say so. I did see it. I didn't see it in the theater. I don't think. I think I saw it on DVD or video at that point. Not sure. But I saw it shortly after it came out. And right.
Well, DVDs were actually out. It was just a rich
person's game. I think it was a DVD. I think I had watched it. I think it was a CD or a DVD, but I watched it shortly after it was released, and then I had not seen it again until the other night. Totally held up. 4.85 Harley Quinn hairstyles out of 5.
I know. He walked into that scene. I'm like, that's Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's the alternate universe. Courtney Love played Harley Quinn.
That would be pretty spectacular.
If it was made in the 90s, absolutely. Before she made that, well, not even accusation, before she told the truth about Harvey Weinstein, absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you think, Marnell? Great.
I really loved it. I can't believe it was 96 because of the time periods that we went through in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And because they kind of put that grindhouse filter on it, like it stands up to now. Like it feels and looks like it could have been shot now. And
you guys, I was honestly just shy of graduating from nursing school when this movie came out. Which is crazy. Sorry, Marna, I overtalked you.
No. Yeah. I was just like, I was 16. Yeah.
I graduated high school in 96. and Lilith was still playing with her Barbies.
And watching The People versus Larry Flint. Marna,
it was a civil liberties kind of thing, so my parents didn't mind it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, my parents are just very open like that. Like, that's why I'm not like a lot of my cousins, which are just like kind of whacked out of their minds because of all the puritanical brainwashing and whatnot. So,
what would you? So rating, Marnell. I'm sorry,
mine was a 4.75 gold-plated wheelchairs.
Oh.
You're going to hell, Marnell. But you're in good company. Okay. She's like, can I use the stripper pole?
Little mustache. Sliding down poles.
Screw those Nikes. I want those thigh highs he was wearing.
For real.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that thigh highs are a thing.
Yeah, that's that cop that pulled you over.
That was the funniest story ever.
Where you going, little lady? None of your damn business.
Oh, no. Well, if I got pulled over and I said, "Officer, I know I was speeding. I fully take responsibility. I'm on my way to see my boyfriend. And he looked like he was all of 12, and he smiled at me and said, he must be really great. And I was like, yeah, he is. Handed me all my...
How fast were you going? Because Alaska has no speed limit.
It does. I was going 78 in a 65.
See?
So he knocked it down to 74.
He knocked it down to 74, which cut the ticket in half. But I might have been wearing thigh highs and a short dress, and I was like, I didn't even have to flash my thigh highs at him. And then he handed me my license and registration and said, I hope the two of you have a wonderful day.
Oh, why can't more cops be like that? You're probably like his first ticket in months, though. Alaska's just wide open.
They were totally running speed traps all weekend, but I was probably his best ticket in months. Oh, wow. Because no one tells a story like that.
Dear Friend's House Forum. I was on my way to see my new boyfriend, and the cop pulled me over.
I like Phil's version of this story better.
Yes.
Phil, what was she wearing in your story?
All right, let me get the wording right.
Do you want me to say? Because I remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fishnets and a dog collar.
Nothing else.
I feel called out.
I just want to say that...
No, not until I got there. No.
I don't need that image of my sister in my brain, but I love it. I still love it.
She doesn't need the image of you dancing on the pole, sending out emails either.
Now we know.
But here we are.
Now, Diane, we're gonna get Marnell a pole for Christmas, okay?
Yes.
You're gonna buy me a dog collar and her a pole.
And then she'll have to join our OnlyFans, Lilith.
How am I
going to table pornography? Get the money directly to the women you want to support.
Marnell tells me it's the only way I'm going to pay for my speeding tickets.
Yeah. Gimme. You know, you could just there's lots of weird ways to make money on OnlyFans without being nude. I'm just saying.
You don't have to show
your
face.
Paint.
Show me.
Cooking naked. I mean.
Okay, we have completely devolved. I did want to say a couple more things about Larry Flint, and Phil, you still have to rate you still have to give us your rating. I want to talk about Vince Schiavelli, the actor. I love him. He's a character actor. He's really odd. He was one of Larry's kind of hanger-on and yes men.
And that's the guy that played Chester.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And then, of course, Crispin Glover, who was super creepy.
Freaking James Carville!
That's the next one I was going to say. James Carville!
I've been dying to say it this
James Carville!
Yeah, this movie had a stellar cast.
It did.
James Carville in a movie about a pornographer. Yes!
Yeah.
Not all Democrats are cowards.
Yeah. I forget that he's a Democrat sometimes.
That's because of what the Democrat Party is nowadays. That's all.
Right?
They're basically just centrists because the right's so far out there.
But no, I probably like I said, this might be the first time I've seen it. I gave it a 4.5. I mean, it held my attention, and not just for the naked people. I mean, it's really interesting.
The story is so compelling.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to hold my attention as much as it did, and it really did.
It was a really good movie. They did a great job. I was not sure rewatching it all these years later. Phil, same thing. I like the idea. I like the idea of civil liberties. I like the idea of people being able to have whatever sex they are having as long as they're adult, consensual, and safe.
And human.
Yeah. Adult, consensual, safe, human to human.
Because you have to say that nowadays.
Yeah. But I didn't know that it was going to hold my attention again, and it totally did. It held up.
Larry Flint claims that he lost his virginity to a chicken.
Kentucky. I mean, not for nothing. When I lived in Louisville, I've heard stories. So
okay, all I'm going to say is either he had a really small dick or that poor chicken.
The poor chicken. Yeah, it.
Wait, in the movie, Althea said he had a needle dick.
She did.
He said he was 10 or 12 or something. So,
but I'm insanely grossed out now. Thanks for killing my jam, you guys.
eggs.
I thought you were gonna say enjoy. I thought you were gonna say enjoy your sex, and I was gonna be like, "That's what I'm saying. You're killing my jam."
Yeah. Come on, Diane. Got that dog collar on. Everything will be fine.
Stop choking that chicken.
Oh!
Okay, I have one more dirty joke that I want to end the podcast on, and this might relate to Diane. The guy goes, "I'll admit, I have a tremendous sex drive. My girlfriend lives 40 miles away." See, that's tame.
Oh my god, I'm writing that down because I'm totally sharing that.
Just gonna share that with the boyfriend.
You need to open our next podcast as this is Diane and I can't drive 55.
Here, I'll put that in the group chat so you can copy it.
God. But no, I know Diane was saying we're getting off topic for a while. I don't know. I'm all right having certain episodes where we just like have no topic, and I'm just like, okay, let's open it up. What strange shit's gonna come out of this?
I was gonna say the OnlyFans stuff is completely on topic because without Hustler, I don't think there would.
You would have an OnlyFans. Yeah.
No. Can you imagine what the internet would be if we
without
porn and without the whole liable parody laws where you can make fun of people as long as you're joking.
Okay, so this is going to be we're deep in the weeds again thing, and Diana's talking way too much about her personal life again thing. But
I'm here for this.
We're all living vicariously. Go ahead.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, back in the day when I was super young, like half the age I am now, literally half the age I am now, the way that you access porn is completely different from the way that you access porn now. And I mean, it was not a thing for many years of my life. And now I'm like, how do you look at porn? It's kind of interesting to make that change. Phil is laughing at me. To kind of make that change from, you could go in the back room of the local video shop and rent something to now it's like, how do I find decent stuff to look at online that's ethical and safe?
You have to sort through it. That's why, I'm going to tell you this. The guy's on the street.
Lilith, send her your instruction manual.
No. It's not that hard. What you do, you find a site you like, and you have to make an account and like the stuff you like so that they actually have an algorithm. I was just sign in and use your account, so you start liking stuff that you like, and it'll curate it every single time you log on. It's make fun of me, but if you don't want to spend an hour looking for the perfect video, that's how you do it.
We'll talk offline, Lilith.
Every once in a while, they throw something at you that you're like, whoa, what was that? Where did that come from?
It's like TikTok knows you so well. You're just like, wait, am I a white lesbian from Iowa? You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, you can't watch that for too long, otherwise it's in your algorithm. Scroll.
Well, we need you to be told.
But yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. And can I just say, I agree with Lilith. I always picture Alaska as like some frozen tundra, and then I think I saw a picture.
It's beautiful in the summer.
I saw a picture of Marnell's yard. I'm like, that looks like a real neighborhood.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna send you guys.
It is over 50
it's summertime.
degrees
It's
right
so
now.
beautiful up there.
In the Patreon, I'm gonna send you some pictures of the sunset last night. Not pictures of
East Coast, and it's open.
A sunset.
No pictures of the moon.
This is legit very pretty. It is not vulgar. It is not awful, but this is.
Are you in the part of Alaska where it's light forever for a couple of months?
So it's light forever up in Barrow. I'm not that far north. I am several hundred miles south of Barrow. I'm south of Barrow. I am several hundred miles north of Marnell. So we get more sunlight than she does.
Yep.
That's the part where I want to live in Alaska. It's like, okay, I only like the light for so many months, and then I just want to live in darkness.
But I mean, right now we're back to. I mean, I have to stop and think about what time it is, but we're back to late sunlight again. I mean, it's not light all night, but we're back to late sunsets.
Lilith is almost a literal vampire. I mean, the one time she stayed here, she's like, it has to be total darkness, no lights, no.
Well, I have really bad migraines. So that's
and they're triggered by light. Yeah.
So I think I might actually be a vampire. I don't know.
Yeah, we
Do you
get
have a vampire
migraines in the sun.
boyfriend?
We get migraines in the sun. We don't sparkle.
Oh my God! Speaking of sparkling vampires,
where did I take this?
So Rob Pattinson is in that movie Tenet that I was asking you guys about earlier, and he is totally not Edward or Cedric
You've never
Diggory.
seen anything else he's been in? Water for Elephants is a great movie.
I've
even
heard
that
about that
cheesy
movie.
Nicholas Sparks movie he's good in. I think that he's decent in Twilight because if you've ever read the books, that's literally Edward. It's just
You know what?
I
actually loved the books the first time I read them, and then I went back and read the first one, and I think I was in my fuck all men phase. So not like.
And you were like, he's a really abusive boyfriend.
Well, you have to no offense to Mormons, but you have to remember that Stephanie Myers is a Mormon, so that's the lens that I look at it through. And she's like a very fundamentalist Mormon, so she's very no offense, she's racist and the whole thing. But like, I can still read that book through that lens and go, it's for somebody.
So did you read The Host?
Yes,
because that was actually really great too.
They butchered the movie though, like the book was much
they did.
That's why it didn't get a sequel. Yeah.
And Pattinson's going to be the Batman.
I'm okay. I think I'm going to be okay with that. You really should watch Tenet, Phil.
It's going to be like Twihard reactivate. That's the only reason why they did it. They want that movie to do well. And the Twihards will come out because Twilight is having a renaissance right now. If you go on YouTube or any other like social media, they've really reactivated because it's something that from their like teens and earlier that's comforting. And plus, she put out the new book Midnight Sun, so that also kind of reactivated the fandom a little bit. So.
And it won't be Zack Snyder.
And it what?
Actually, I love
it won't be Zack Snyder.
It's Matt Reeves. I like Matt Reeves a lot. So, on that note, this is as long as the movie.
Usually with me and Marnell, the conversation is longer than the movie. So
yeah, you guys used to have long episodes. Now it's like, all right, Marnell, you got 4 minutes. Spit out whatever you're gonna say.
Yeah, Mama needs to get her fuck on. You're on a clock.
Oh poor Rob Southgate.
Fighters or the other one here this week. He was just like, you got 4 minutes. Hold out.
We ended early.
She literally is like, I got a hard out.
You should see the text that I get during our podcast. She's like, you have 12 minutes.
She just puts a little timer in the corner. Nobody else knows what that's about. Marnell's just looking at it. And I'm done. Happy Diane!
Damn, dude, you must be good.
He's pretty great.
He makes her happy.
Gives it to me thoroughly and well.
And on that note,
I'm just going to say one more thing, Lilith, to anybody out there who is listening. 50 is amazing.
Well, maybe
50 is amazing. I never thought it would be amazing.
Maybe if you're doing that, you wouldn't have been pulled over. Oh, hey. So next movie review in June. If I can pick, can we do another real life story? Can we do Howard Stern's Private Parts?
I know
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Hey, I got one for you. WNBC.
Yeah. But no, it's like from the same era because it's from 1997.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Read the book if you can too, as well.
Yeah, but
I'll get it on audio.
And doesn't he do it himself on the audiobook? Hell.
Oh, let's hope so.
I never heard the audio. I've read the book, but
I think he does do it. So.
And just so Marnell doesn't get nervous, there is at least 1 or 2 naked people in it, so you're good.
Well, yeah, he always is pulling naked shenanigans on the show.
I was gonna say, like, I actually used to watch his radio show on TV.
Yeah,
they weren't calling them podcasts.
That sounds so weird.
I know
that program on the television. Yeah,
but it was a radio show, but it was on TV, and it wasn't a podcast.
Oh yeah, he started a bunch of stuff like that. I think a bunch of people followed, but we'll get into that next month because somebody's got to do the you know what with the you know who.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're on Patreon. Yeah, get that penis, girl. just gonna remind myself we're on Patreon. And Rob, I'm sorry.
It's called the hard R. Come on.
I know. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't have the wall of Charlie Esther noise to hide behind. I'm sorry. So yeah, come back next time for private parts.